In making Arduino Step-by-Step 2017 getting started, I tried really hard to create a course that is both comprehensive, not just because of the amount of video that it contains, but also because of their resources, both internal and external resources, without making it overwhelming. I want to make it easy to learn, not just by watching videos, but also by trying to stretch your brain a bit using exercises that some of them are embedded inside the video itself, and some of them are outside the videos, and I use those as a way to consolidate the knowledge that you gained inside a section. In this lecture, I'd like to show you the features that are available for you during your learning process. So let's have a look first at the structure of each one of the sections. So all the lectures are organized in sections so that they belong together, and you can drill inside a section by just clicking on the section header. And the first thing that you notice is that at the very end, I've got a quiz. So we use the quizzes to obviously test the knowledge that you acquired, but also to consolidate it. So you start the quiz, there's a question here, they're all multiple choice questions. So you can, in this case, ensure that you know what is the operational voltage of the Arduino Uno. And let's say that incorrectly we click on 12, you're getting instant feedback that that is the incorrect answer. And you can try again. Notice that there's a message here. It says that this particular question was discussed in lecture 17. So you can go back there and review the question and find the correct answer. But let's say that you've done that and that you found that the correct answer is 5. Again, you get instant feedback that this is the correct answer, and you can move on to the next question. Each quiz contains 5 to 6 questions in total. So that's one thing. I would strongly advise that you attempt each quiz at the end of every section before you're moving on to the next section, just to ensure that things are still fresh in your mind and you've got the opportunity to reinforce your new knowledge. That's one thing. Now, let's have a look at another lecture. Let's go to... where are we now? Okay, let's go further down where in section 8 we talk about measuring light and color, and I'll pick lecture 67. Let's have a look inside this lecture. All right, I'm going to skip forward to about minute number 8. So in minute 8, and I'll pause here. So you see that because in this lecture I'm working through a circuit that I'm assembling on the mini breadboard, in most cases I use a schematic to help me through the wiring process. So in most cases, again, I display the schematic on the screen so that you can see it as I'm going along with the assembly of the circuit on the breadboard. Now this schematic is available to download. See how it says here resources available up on the top left corner. You can click on the little symbol here to go to the available resources for this lecture, and you can see that there is a photoregister.png file. This is a downloadable file of the schematic that I've got on the screen. So you click on it, and in the background my browser downloaded the schematic so that you can use it. You can print it out or put it in your scrapbook or use it locally in any way that you like. So that's one thing. Another thing that occasionally you'll see very frequently in my lectures are links to external resources that prompt you to do some additional reading on the topic that we're discussing. So let's see if I can find one of those here. I'm going to click around until I find it because I don't remember exactly where I put it. Let's see. Oh, here's one. So this case here, I'm inviting you to go onto a Wikipedia article and learn more about the voltage divider. So I've got a short link here. Most of the links these days tend to be gigantic with lots and lots of characters that wouldn't fit in the legend at the bottom of the video here. So I shorten them using my link shortener, and all you've got to do is to copy this into your browser to get to the destination, or alternatively you can just click on the link here, voltage divider, and that will take you to the available external resource. So you can simply pause your video as it's playing, take a few minutes to go and review those resources, and then come back and resume with watching the lecture. Or you can simply take a note to go back to the resources at the end of the lecture and then do your reading. It's up to you, of course, how you want to organize this. Another kind of brain stretching exercise that I have included is one like the example I'm about to show you. Let's go to minute about number 4, if I remember correctly. So that is, there you go. So I've clicked pause on the player here, but what happens is that in cases where I discuss a topic, sometimes I actually stop the video or the normal flow of the lecture to ask a question. So in this case, I was talking about different kinds of thermistors, and I was measuring the resistance of a thermistor using my multimeter. And what I'm asking you to do is to think about the information that I gave you about this device at an earlier part of the lecture and determine what kind of thermistor the one that I'm working with is based on what the multimeter is telling us about the resistance. There are 2 features in this type of brain stretcher exercises. Once I've got a bit of context, then I've got a question, like down here is the question, and I've got a countdown timer. So I typically give 10 seconds to come up with the answer. Of course, you can extend that by pausing the playback so that you give yourself some more time. But I thought that 10 seconds is enough to not disrupt the flow too much, because some people might not want to do these exercises. If you want more time, just click on the pause button and you have as much time as you need to come up with the answer. And in every case, as soon as this timer expires, I also give the answer as well, so you can confirm that you got the correct answer independently and then self-check. Another reason for me using brain stretcher exercises is to give you the opportunity to detect a mistake that I've made, either in some calculation or perhaps in a wiring. Perhaps I put a component in reverse, or the calculation result was incorrect. So I give you the opportunity to find my mistakes. Of course, in every case, I correct them as soon as the countdown completes. But I think that finding mistakes or answering questions in this way helps stretch your knowledge, stretch your brain muscles, and that's an effective way of learning. So these are the most important features for making the most out of Arduino Step-by-Step 2017. Another question that I'm often asked is, should I take the lectures one after the other in the way that you've organized them in the course? For example, I'm already familiar with prototyping basics. Do I need to go through this section, or can I just skip and go straight to measuring light and color? And the answer is, it's up to you really. I've got all the content that I think is necessary to take somebody from being a very beginner in their Arduino adventures to somebody who can do quite a lot of interesting things with the Arduino. And I believe that this is the material that you need in order to get there. But of course, everybody comes from a different place with a different set of experiences and skill sets. So it is really up to you to pick the lectures that you think are more relevant to your particular situation and your goals. And if you need to skip some lectures in order to save time, be my guest and do so. You can always come back, of course, and review things that you skipped the first time around. I haven't created this course with the objective of somebody taking it from cover to cover. You can easily skip lectures or even whole sections and still get a lot out of this course. The last very important thing for you to remember is that there is always help available. So if you have a question about something, don't forget that you can ask a question. The easiest way to ask a question is to go down here where it says Browse Q&A, click on this and ask a question. Since my course at this moment hasn't launched yet, it's not published, I'm recording this lecture before I publish the course. So if you want to ask anything, just go to the Q&A section and just type in your question. Something like this would do. When you ask a question, please try to include as many details as you can so that I can readily understand what is it that you're asking and I can just answer it right away without taking too much time. If your question is not clear to me, then I'm going to have to ask a follow-up question just to try and clarify a couple of things before I can fully grasp what is it that you are asking about. So you can mention, for example, in minute 4, second 17, in the lecture on the resistors, or lecture number 76, you said something that I didn't quite understand. Could you explain that? Or something like that. Just try to pinpoint me to the right direction so that I can understand your context and any background information that will help me understand where you got stuck. So with that all said, I hope that you now have a good understanding of the various tools that are available to help you in your learning journey. Go ahead, learn lots, happy making, and remember that I'm here to help.